Hello, and welcome back to the channel. It's Maverick here, and right now we are watching episode 3 of Redo of Healer. So, I presume that all those who are going to be offended or can't quite stomach this particular series probably have already left in episode 2. And for those that are staying, well, you already know what to expect, right? Because I can assure you, without spoiling anything, that this is what this series is all about, right? Revenge and all that. And, the main character's willingness to go to extreme lengths in order to exact his revenge. So that is not going to change. I can promise you that, for better or for worse. But in any case, well, let's just continue on, shall we? I am honestly contemplating whether or not I am dropping this series, not because I don't like it. I actually, in a weird way, really like this series. I do enjoy a good revenge story. It's just that I typically shy away from doing series where I already know the source material because, that gives me less stuff to talk about, right? Both the reaction part is not going to be fun, and, I have to refrain myself from spoiling things happening in the future. But, I'll give it a few more episodes to see if this actually works or not. So, with that being said, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Right. So say for instance, I already know what this episode is going to be all about, but I can't really say anything right now. All I can say is, all the hate you guys had for Flare. Well, I guess technically, hey, it worked. That's you they're talking about. Norn. See, even though, there's that little detail there, even though Flare supposedly had all her memories, rewritten and whatnot, the fear of Norn is so deep. That Flare is reacting. I can't believe they... How come they did not mention anything about that? Like, seriously, that is important detail. Right, so once again, the fact that Flare reacted to the name of Norn, even though she supposedly had her memories written and whatnot, that is actually important to understand, how deeply influenced she is by Norn, right? Or, how much she fears or hates Norn, or, this kind of extreme emotions. And honestly, those who have watched, fantasy works that are more or less isekai inspired or whatnot, like, this isn't exactly an isekai, but for many purposes, you can consider it in the same sort of vein, because the hero is, right, is sort of OP and knows a lot that's going to help him out. And then, of course, anyways, my point is, people who watch a lot of these types of fantasy anime should probably already know by now the next step that Keyaru is going to do. Yeah, this is the first life. I do hope they show it though. Oh, the intent. Okay, I think they are going to show it. Yeah, she's putting it where you guys think she is. And then of course we get the censored. I do know, by the way, that there's uncensored versions, but I'm not gonna risk it and watch it and put it on YouTube and whatnot. See, this is why, like, you honestly don't need to feel any sympathy for Flair when Keyaru raped her. Like, seriously. Like, this is a very interesting censorship method, I gotta say. Like I said, honestly, if anybody is still, yeah, I kind of misremember something. I thought that they went through the entire backstory first, but I guess what it is that uh, what's it called? I read too quickly, so I thought that it was, before. Hey, at least we know Keyaru is flexible. Ah, okay. We are. Seems that we are going to get the other two heroes as well. We get to the censorship scene as well. Like, honestly, as I mentioned before, pretty much 90% of the characters in this series are unlikable. Well, I guess you can't really say unlikable, unlovable. Let's say. Oh, one more. I guess this is what they say by birds of a or flock together, right? Or what was that saying again? By the way, he's doing him, if it wasn't obvious here. And hey, it's the lovable flare right now. Revenge! But before that, gotta make some preparations first. Okay, that's actually jumping the gun way too far. Actually, I don't think he figured this out until he completely figured it out, but... Hmm. Oh. Is it contagious? They need to practice some social distancing. Hey, he could solve COVID-19 by his own. So convenient. Of course, he's worried that it's a poison or whatnot. So. Hey. Not to mention, there's always the possibility of someone accusing him to have made the disease in the first place and profit off it, right? Huh. This is actually resolved a bit differently from what I remember, but I mean, I think it's quite obvious that the merchant is not an honest person, right? In other words, Flair is his slave. Of course, he has appraisal skill. Hey. Kayaru's like, I like those eyes. So, anyways, I'm sure a lot of people are probably experiencing deja vu with some other series as well. Alright, and I think that's it. I will see you guys after this. Oh, there's a little bit more after this. Let's watch this in 3, 2, 1, play. Hey, they discovered it. Alright, I see you guys after this. Alright, so where do we start from this episode? I guess we can start from all the various other heroes, in case it wasn't obvious already. Yes, all three of them, Flare, Bullet, and Blade, they were all abusing Keyaru, sexually assaulting him, etc, 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 beating him up, and Keyaru had to go this through 4 years. Well, not literally, right, because he spent most of his first year or second years, within the palace and whatnot, but once he did eventually go adventuring with the other heroes and whatnot, that was his daily life indeed. So, you know, I do feel that at this point there shouldn't be anybody feeling sympathy for Blade or Flare or Bullet, you know, at least for me, I definitely don't feel any sympathy whatsoever for any of them. They all deserve what they are going to get in the future, and you know, without spoiling anything, due justice will be served. I mean, I don't really think that's a spoiler. This is a revenge story after all, so take of that as you will. All I can say is what's gonna happen to Flare. You know, not exactly the exact same thing, but you know, close to it will happen to others as well, and it's going to be glorious. All right. Beyond that, you know, they do change up a few things from the original work as I remember it. Like, for instance, the scene with the merchant and whatnot, and also the scene with Keyaru and Flare leaving the capital. You know, it's not exactly that important. The merchant, by the way, I feel like what they're doing is they're just moving the bad merchant kind of storyline or plot a little bit later, because I think it's quite obvious from this episode that you can still tell the merchant is up to no good, right? And we had that ominous look about him once they were leaving, once they left him. So, you know, that definitely is a plot point for the future, and we'll see more of that later, right? And in this episode, well, we are introduced to the Wolf Girl, right? Who, by the way, technically we're not supposed to know her name at this point, because that's also kind of important. But then I took a look at the preview, and the preview title, and the preview for the next episode already spoiled her name in the title. So I'm like, well, that is just G's. But in any case, the Wolf Girl is, remember originally when I said that probably 90% of the characters in this series are unlovable? The Wolf Girl is maybe one of those that I view as exceptions, where, you know, she doesn't, I think she's pretty lovable, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, she definitely does have this revenge streak, this hate streak within her as well, but it definitely doesn't manifest itself as prominently as some of the others. So, if there were going to be any one character who is more waifu material, if you will. It's probably gonna be her. Although there are a few other candidates as well. We shall cross that bridge once we get there, right? And yeah, I think that's basically it for this episode. Actually, do let me know, right? Are there any viewers here that are watching this blind? Because I kind of want to know how I should go forward with this. Because if everybody who's watching this right now, along with me, are people like me who have already read the original source and whatnot, I can just freely talk about all the various different stuff without worrying about spoilers, right? However, if there is still a certain, a subset of viewers here who are watching this blind and watching along, then I'm gonna still refrain from really spoiling anything too much of the upcoming storyline. So do let me know. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. Honestly, to me, these first early episodes where the main character gathers his party and whatnot, that's typically, unless. To me, it's still, of course, interesting, but it's definitely not as interesting as when Keyaru really starts to get the ball rolling and starts his revenge plot, right? This is just preparations. So, for me, anyways, I am definitely waiting more for, I would guess maybe around episode 6 or so, right? When things really start taking off and we get some of the fun stuff. But in any case, that's it for now. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.